Shirley here with Mercury. Our Mercury is conjuncting the Sun, so and I began to upload new videos on the YouTube channel, on a new YouTube channel. For various reasons, I got myself a little bit targeted individual, and this is not an oh sorry me. Like I totally understand what I tended to, and I tended to something that literally no visible person I saw ever tended to, which is bridging the expandable children that were ritually abused and survived with the people that they ran into as abusers. But thanks to people like Lars on Trudy Verstechen's channel, Mama versus Mafia, we know that these people with these public personas, they were also satanically ritually abused. And I began to try to bridge in the gaps of the narratives of the stories, so to actually tend to abolishing the practice of extortion, torturing of children, whether it's satanic abuse or MK Ultra. And I got myself targeted. Woo! Okay. So that was, I would say, do not try this at home, but actually, I think that en masse, we all need to try this. We all need to tend to that. And that touched on issues I had with housing, with my own body, with relationships, with my natal chart, and many things. And so now I'm tending to actually my toes and I'm correcting my toes. So Mercury in Aquarius is a great time to do that, by the way. And as I'm correcting my toes, I can literally see how the structure of my toes, or some of the toes, kind of like, hey, I don't have a place to be. And those were my feelings and experiences in the world. Like I'm making a place for myself and it feels tedious. It feels like I have to change the structure to do so. And very literally, I do. And I tend to that in my own feet. I also tend to courses, which is new to me. I came from academic background. Even when I looked at astrology, it was from an academic perception of, first of all, in physics department, there are departments that look at atoms and as a spiritual unit as well as a matter unit, so spirit and matter, and astrology as a nonlinear dynamic system. But the topic of courses was something that in my family was like, I don't believe in that. I don't let anything have power over me. And that's it. And then I was like, oh my God, people like, I would hold a talisman or I would hold like even like my magnesium or something. Then it would shake in my hand and have rapey energy. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I would use salt or I would use sand. And it's always funny because the people who course, they want you to, let's say, not have land, so you have to use the soil to remove the curse. So actually what happens is that you work more with soil, so you actually manifest to more soil. But when it comes to the structure of my toes, kind of like I'm making a place for me in the world, but it's also for me inside my body. And when it comes to those issues, I know that those who are doing these things, they come from backgrounds where they were satanically ritually abused or went through MK Ultra like projects. So they themselves have a challenge to be present in their bodies. And this is like, I wouldn't say a mirror, but it's like, hey, I insist on being present in my body. And for these people, they deal with aspects of the self that want that and aspects that try to ruin that because they've been mind controlled and programmed to ruin their own existence and their own body. And so this is something that I have been tending to, which is quite challenging, to be very honest. That included, whatever what people call spiritual warfare or whatnot. Okay, so both many types of forms of violence, unfortunately, that I deal with in this position. Also to do with housing and the many situations where a myriad of people don't feel even at home in their own bodies, and so in such situation everything bothers a person, and they sense so many things, and I sense so many things. And essentially it's about changing the structure so that it can contain and have a place for people in the world. Okay, one issue can be with housing. Let's say a person could feel another person's energy, and it's like, well, I rented the place. This is now for the place to what I do with okay, that I live there. And then if I leave the place because you assaulted me, then I cannot take my stuff right now, okay? So now the person is having to grapple with what they did because they want the energy out. And it's like, did that person have a place to live? That person rented because they have no money for to buy an apartment. So now you have this weird thing with the energies going on. And it's literally about making a place for yourself in the world structurally. But as I walk through my toes, it's kind of like it's taking literal physical work to separate my toes and to align the structure, okay, to allow for to even exist in my own body. In terms of food, by the way, sprouts and some fungi is something that assists you to have niacin that is actually good against schizophrenia, which is a state of extreme dissociation that happens because of trauma, okay? And so, and as people begin to remember, it also triggers other people. Because me remembering things and not forgetting and not dissociating and setting boundary is triggering people's own rape memories, and then they try to take it on me, like to be violent towards me. And so it's very challenging, and naturally that affects, business, housing, relations, and you have to tend to that because otherwise, you do the things to make your business successful or your work successful, and then there would be literal curses so that you would not be able to even feel that this is your own body, or all these things, and to get you to be in places that are not respectful of your sovereignty, whether in terms of supposed help system or any other place, or even to live in rent. Okay, there's one thing to live in rent. We're thinking, oh, I'm thinking to buy the house, let's rent it first. And it's completely other thing to live in rent because you don't have money to buy a house and you cannot see yourself buying a house in the future. It's completely one thing different to work at a corporation because you're working on your own thing, and meanwhile you're having a daytime job, you're learning skills, and you're also providing value for the place, and then you can have, I don't know, cooperation or something like that. It's completely different than, if not for that, then I would not have food. Completely different living situations. I love, 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 love Gen Zers for tending to these things, and a lot of them are suicidal as fuck because of MK Ultra. But I just want to say, as a millennial, respect to Gen Zers. I have Uranus in Sag, they have Pluto in Sag. They have been en masse saying what, only a segment of my generation only could speak. And that has been so important. And I'm very grateful because these people understand my struggle, and I don't have to go through the hoops. When I speak with Gen Zers, they immediately like, yeah, no, that person was killed, that person was kidnapped to hospital, and then they were electrocuted, that person was raped in hospital, that person was this, that person was that. So these are all testimonies. Um, and and there's just things that as humanity, okay, we have to change. I've been running into videos here for this channel. The Venus is in the 12th house, but she ruled by Mars, and Mars is trine in Saturn, so it's interesting. The ascendant is in Venus sign. Now the ascendant is close to Uranus, better per se, at the time of recording. And I ran into testimonials of women and women that are describing that their experience, unique experience of being women. So some women, because they were not a part of a cult, and sometimes they don't know it even, then they didn't succeed in life. They didn't have career or profession or even driving license, and they feel failure, which is like, well, sometimes it's just because you said no to certain things and you forget the no that you said to make way for a yes that is actually authentic. Um, and for some women, they went through different cultures, different countries, um, and decided not to treat themselves in Freudian ways. And then we decide, okay, whether they want children, not want children, give place to the intricacy, and also no longer compete with other women for just for the sake of competition. The energy around them is great, so I'm like very excited on this platform to see what other women will I meet. Um, Natally, I have Sedna in Venus sign like most of us, and she's next to my Venus, so I did experience, yes, betrayal from women, but it's not because women are like that. It's just that I have Sedna next to my Venus, and I need to learn how to work with that Sedna, um, which is also about my, business. A third house also business, local travel, cars, and communication. So that has been very exasperating. Okay, to have that when I am Uranus in the 10th, I'm meant to be self-employed, even as an astrologer. And Sedna to business means betrayals might be around your business, which indeed happened, or around your voice and like stuff like that that has been so frustrating and exasperating. And there's the role of, all these courses that has to do with it. Sometimes the woman doesn't want to betray you at all. Either she feels some intricate, complex jealousy or whatnot she has to go through, but sometimes she's just threatened. She's just, or she thinks it's you or something like that. And yeah, that means going back to the toes and correcting the toes. I can see so many things where it's like, my God, this is a structure that didn't allow being. And that structure has a context, whether in our world or whatnot, or whatever. Okay, I have Saturn in Scorpio in the ninth, so it could be orthodox structure that was affecting the sexuality, um, and courses around that I'm not aware of. There are many things. So yeah, I wouldn't say that this is easy, um, but this is kind of another chance to social media. I've had my Instagram account completely confiscated without ability to open new accounts, which is beyond horrible betrayal. Um, and it's not like I don't understand what triggered people or something like that, but it's also like, hey, fuck that. That freedom of speech is not for the record. It is something that's actually true. And I know that some of the people that have been doing that were social engineers, so they themselves don't have the freedom to say what they need to say. And so instead of trying to silence me, okay, just like, hey, somebody says what you cannot say. Somebody needs to say that. Um, but it's also the fact that, yeah, I've taken some fire, almost lethal. So there's a lot of frustration and intricate emotions. Just intricate emotions. I give place to these intricate emotions because it's not black or white, okay? Because Some people are, they just want to destroy something, but it's like what you actually want to destroy is the abusers, and I'm not your abuser. I'm actually the one who tried to open the gate so that you can get out of this violence. They can understand the anger, but also have to what, defend my own boundaries here. And by speaking up is important, because yeah, there was, okay, the things need to be, they need to be on air, okay, they need to be out there, so people can tend to that and can change the situation. Like me unaliving myself or something like that, I'm not on a path of that, yes. But you know, if you want to kill yourself, then everybody's like, life is beautiful, life is that, life is that. um but if you, God forbid, want to live, and you do what you have to do to choose life, then it gets people mad. Everybody mad at you. It's like, well, you were also mad at me when and I love life, but also I love life when I live. Okay, when steps are taken against my life and the livelihood, then yes, it's a problem.